This evening, we look at India's preparation for a big marriage equality ruling. On April 18th, tomorrow, the Supreme Court will hear final arguments in petitions seeking the legalization of same sex marriage. It's not verdict day in the landmark case, but close to it. If the top court rules in the favors of the petitioners, same sex couples will have the right to legally wed, and it will be a watershed moment for the LGBTQIA+ community and their rights globally. Just a handful of places outside the West and only Taiwan in Asia allow same sex marriage. And in places like Thailand, Japan, and South Korea, where similar debates are gaining traction, this ruling is being closely observed. In short, this story is extremely newsworthy. Let's dive in. In 2018, the Supreme Court decriminalized IPC Section 377, or consensual homosexual sex. Today, same-sex couples can live together with some legal protections unimaginable 5 years ago. But they are on a slippery slope without the legal right to get married. For example, they cannot adopt children or have a child by surrogacy. They do not have automatic rights to inheritance, maintenance, tax benefits after a partner passes away. They cannot avail benefits like pension or compensation. And between the lines, since marriage is a legally regulated social institution, without this social sanction, same-sex couples struggle to truly make a life together. So several of them petitioned the Supreme Court in January for amendments to India's Special Marriages Act, which would allow same-sex couples to marry. We have been reporting on this story since, and some of you have asked why a change to the Special Marriages Act is being sought. You know this, in India, marriages are like a social pact. They are often sanctioned under laws codified for different religions, like the Hindu Marriage Act, the Indian Christian Marriage Act, the Muslim Personal Law, the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act, etc. And cutting across, there is still significant resistance to homosexuality on moral and religious grounds. So to sidestep all of this, petitioners are seeking amendments specific to India's secular marriage codes, the Special Marriage Act, which does not have any rules bound to religion. The petitioners are arguing that marriage is not a moral litmus test, and denying the right to marry is unconstitutional under the fundamental right to equality and right to life and personal liberty granted by the Indian Constitution. The government strongly disagrees. In a detailed affidavit submitted in March, which really lays out its view of same-sex unions in entirety, the government's lawyer said, quote, "The state limits the recognition to the heterosexual form," end quote, which cannot be viewed as discrimination. Why? Because heterosexual marriage plays an important role in raising children and ensuring their, quote, "proper mental and psychological growth in the most natural way possible," end quote, which is the same homosexuality is unnatural argument said differently. The government said that same-sex couples living together as partners and having sexual relationships is not unlawful or criminal. It's just not recognized by the state because it cannot be compared to an Indian family unit, which is defined as a husband, a wife, and a child born out of the union, of course. The Supreme Court, in a different matter though, has expanded the definition of a family to include domestic, unmarried, and queer relationships. Other arguments include that same-sex marriage is not compatible with the Indian ethos and morality and will cause a complete havoc in accepted societal norms, that it is a sacrament, a holy union, and a sanskar. The takeaway is that the government is seeking a preservation of the status quo. It has also said that marriage between a biological male and a female falls under personal laws. So the court has zero jurisdiction over marital laws, which are the domain of the parliament. It is up to lawmakers to debate the ramifications of same-sex marriages, including how gendered laws like the Domestic Violence Act will work in same-sex marriages. The government argues, if the court is unhappy with what the parliament decides, it can intervene later. Net-net, it's a hard no from the government side. On March 24th, a group of 21 former judges also wrote a letter to the Supreme Court publicly opposing marriage equality in the interest of Indian society and culture. In their humble opinion, legalizing same-sex marriage will strike at the very root of the family system and Bharatiya traditions. None of these fears are supported by facts, and not all 21 judges have a clean record of following Bharatiya traditions. For instance, Justice Raghavendra Singh Rathore, a former judge in the Rajasthan High Court, was ordered by the Supreme Court to let his 30-year-old daughter marry a man of her choosing. He had forcibly confined her at home. Despite all this resistance, there is some forward momentum going by recent verdicts from the Apex Court itself, including the one that expanded the definition of family to include same-sex couples and ruled that such partnerships are entitled to certain social welfare benefits. Also, no large protests have taken place against marriage rights. We will keep you posted on the final arguments, which will be live streamed, by the way. Regardless, there is a sense that equal marriage rights are inevitable in the near future. Before I go, please like and share this video if it added value or clarity around this extremely newsworthy story. And don't forget to make a monetary contribution and support our independent journalism. No amount is small enough, and we remain answerable only to you. The link to contribute is in our Instagram bio and on YouTube in the video description. You can also get it done now by scanning the QR code on your screens. Thank you so much for your time today. I'll see you again very soon.